Up a wooded winding road just outside the chocolate box town of Helmsley is Rievaulx Abbey. And in order for us to talk about Rievaulx Abbey, let's talk a little bit about the history of the monasteries and this particular Cistercian order. Because the Cistercians came from France, just outside of Dijon, it isn't surprising that Rievaulx has a very French name. The name Rievaulx is actually sort of a medieval French take on Rye Valley, and that is where this abbey is located. Very close to the Rye River, out of sight, which is what the monks wanted, in a very cloistered area. This became the first Cistercian abbey in the north and the largest Cistercian abbey in the north. It has maintained an incredible structure, though it did succumb to Henry VIII and the suppression of the Catholic Church. It lost its roof at that point. Of course, erosion has taken its toll on it, and it has had further demolition over the years, but it has also had reconstruction. And in the 19th and 20th century, it has had 100 years of care through English heritage and restoration, and now stands as one of the great examples of medieval buildings which were constructed and expanded upon over a period of 300 or 400 years. Revered by Renaissance artists, and I think you'll see why in this video. As you come to Rievaulx from Helmsley, you will actually see the abbey before you see the parking lot. Don't let that fool you. Just keep driving, and the parking lot is specific to the abbey. It is an English heritage site, and so if you're an English heritage member, you will have free entrance and free parking. Otherwise, there's pay and display, and there is a fee to get into the abbey. There is a discount if you book online ahead of time, but if you pay on the day at the door, a single adult ticket is £14. And like many English heritage sites, your admission includes an audio guide if you would like that. You will enter through the Visitor Center, which is a really beautiful modern building, and that has access to a cafe, a souvenir shop, as well as the ticket area. Walking out through the Visitor Center, you will follow the tree-lined trail to the Abbey ruins. They are spectacular and stunning from the first view. Just up the path and to the right of the Abbey is the museum, where there are artifacts from the monks' daily lives as well as the laymen's lives. Rievaulx was established in 1132 and began with a series of small wooden buildings. But as this monastic colony grew under Abbot Aelred, so did the abbey itself. Just 35 years later, when Abbot Aelred died, the church had doubled in size, with 140 monks and over 500 lay people, who were essentially brothers responsible for the building of the abbey. While a huge shrine was planned to honor Aelred, there was pretty severe financial problems that kept it from reaching what the expected design had been. And Abbot Roger II probably lost his job because of the financial problems and the failure to complete the abbey as it was planned. In the late 1300s, life at the abbey really seemed to change. The lay brothers that had done all of the manual work at the abbey all seemed to be disappearing, and they were being replaced by paid people to complete the work. By 1536, King Henry VIII began the suppression of the monasteries. There really were only 23 monks left living at the abbey. And on December 3rd of 1538, the abbey was shut down and it was sold to Thomas Manners, who was the first Earl of Rutland and also a close associate of the royal court. He began the dismantling of the abbey, saving key pieces like the bells for the king himself. But historians will remember Ralph Baude, who was Manor's steward in Helmsley, as he painstakingly recorded the entire dismantling process, noting what was taken down, where it was, and what it was. But the abbey was not dormant. There was an ironworks that had been at the abbey, and it grew and became extremely active during the late 15 and early 1600s until the timber supply was exhausted and then the ironworks was eventually closed. George Villiers acquired the Rutland estates through marriage, and his son, the second Duke of Buckingham, ended up selling the Rye Valley and many of the Rievaulx estates to Sir George Duncombe. Duncombe was a banker from London, and he came up to the north, built a large home. Duncombe Park on the west side of Helmsley was expanded by his nephew, Thomas Duncombe, who also expanded the park all the way along the Rye River and built a terrace above the abbey with two temples that were classically designed and made this a really artistic setting where artists and writers would come for inspiration. Since the 1800s, it has become an increasingly popular destination for visitors who want those same stunning views. But it was in the late 1800s that scholarship became as important as art. And it was at this time that there was a real effort to preserve, rebuild, and excavate that original abbey. In the early 1900s, after World War I, veterans were brought in and did much of the excavation work that has revealed the secrets that the abbey held. This process of preservation and display that took place at Rievaulx Abbey was really a model for all of Britain for the next 2 generations when it came to preserving artifacts and making them available to the public. The North York Moors offer so much in the way of beauty and history, architecture, and art. We hope you'll join us for our other videos from this exceptional region of England. But we also have lots from the Yorkshire Dales, and there's in the same county, but they're very different parts of the country. Join us for all of these. Glimpses into Northern England's iconic landmarks, medieval villages, tiny market towns, and charming people. If you're looking for lodging, make sure and check out our Where to Stay channel. And in this region, York is the can't miss city. Start with our video with just one day in York, all the things you can do.